Ready to go?
Yep, I'm ready.
Fire away, guys.
Coach, Mike and Kevin mentioned like you're big on details. I guess what are a couple of details about both of their games that you've kind of stressed over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think, two phases obviously to this position that have been really, really cool to coach and get back involved in the details. I think in the run game, the biggest piece has just been the obvious to us, but the little things of hat placement, hand placement, what's our target in what run, and us hitting that target, and how we fix those things with our feet. So those things are every play, the details of it. That way, I've told them, and I think this is so true, that if we do that, but we're this far off, which is reality, that's life, but yet we're that close, we can fix things so much quicker. Whereas if we're too far away, meaning we're not close to anything in our targets, hat placement, or hands, those are hard to fix. Those are hard mistakes to fix. We can fix little ones. And so that's been the biggest detail in the run game. And in pass game, I would like to think that they would say to that it's been just the details of second level releases. Our ability to get off at second level and not be foot over foot on contact to where we're getting hit too far off our lines and not getting routes done. Our ability to pop halves at second level and release and have a plan for why we use what we use at the top to separate. And the guys are really starting to understand, and I think we're getting on the same page with, hey, when he does this, you do this. If he does this, do that. And giving them a couple options to win so they know they have a lot of tools in their toolbox to win.
And then just kind of watching the guys on film before you got to see them practice, has anything stood out, like surprised you at all about the group?
Probably all positive in a positive way. Just their overall approach, how they want more, and to learn. They're really conscientious. The guys care. They're hardworking and those things. Like, I've been very impressed with their mentality in the meeting room and how they approach the game. And then certainly, Mike has been a pleasant guy to coach, to say the least. But I will say that the other guys in the room, we've got some young guys and guys that have not played as much that really are going to have a chance to make our room a well-rounded room and good all around, and been impressed with those guys as well. So it's been a good spring overall to get through and learn who they are, and just excited to keep building their trust and build relationships with them,
And then jumping back into tight ends for you this year, what's it kind of been like coaching them again, or coaching the position again, and then what's it been like working with Coach Rees as offensive coordinator?
Yeah, so it's really been a challenge to me in a good way to get back in it, and I love being involved in both phases so much. I love being involved in the run game and front recognition, and then the pass game, of course. So I've really enjoyed being back in it. It's been a good adjustment for me to get back in, and a challenge to learn. And Tommy Rees, I think, man, is just class act. He's been great to me, been great to the staff coming in. We got 4 new guys on staff. So for him to allow us to learn from him, know what he wants, get acclimated to everybody in the room, he sustained patience and allowed us to kind of learn and know what the expectation is, and kept that, and kept us involved and empowered us to continue to control our rooms, but also led the offense. And couldn't say more good things about where we're at in our staff.
And then the last one for me is Kane Barong. I guess what have you kind of seen from him as he kind of just works his way back through rehab and everything?
Sure, he's doing everything he's supposed to do, and I was telling them over there, the last 6 weeks he's really changed his body back from his rehab. He looks good right now and has got himself in a good position body type wise. We've been able to get him on the ball machine in pre-practice drills. He has great soft hands, catches it easy. He's a great kid, studies hard, and prepares in the meeting room just like he would be to coming out here to practice, which I think tells you a lot about who he is. So he's preparing well and put himself in a good position to come back and get healthy in the summer.
Coach, coming here to Notre Dame, what was you looking for when you look at a guy like Mike? How do you find things for him to improve on after such a stellar season?
Yeah, it's a question or a topic that's got brought up a lot. I think anytime you coach a great player, a guy that's proven himself that well, I think the whole key to it is finding what makes him tick and make sure that, because all he wants to do is get better. He's hungry to get better. So I think for me it's just been a really good challenge to come in every day, because I know if I'm not right and ready to coach him and coach that room, they'll get you. That's what's great about coaching great players. It forces me to wake up every morning like, okay, let's make sure that you're making that room better and a guy like Michael Mayer better. And So the details of him in the run game, in the pass game, and the things that he needs to grow on for his future here and after, it's pretty easy to catch those. And when a guy is just that driven to be great, it's an easy thing to want to coach and help make him get better.
And what's it been like adapting to the culture here and getting adjusted to how they operate here and what the expectations are?
Well, like anywhere, people ask, like a new place, it's new people, new culture, new expectations. So it's been a lot, which if y'all can tell, like I don't mind being able to say hello and talk to people, but sometimes you got to be able to sit back and just take it in and absorb all that stuff to understand what it is. And that's been a lot of this, just been taking a lot of it in, understanding what the expectations are on offense as a full culture of our program, and take it all in before figuring out where I add value as far maybe verbally and those things. So it's just been taking all that stuff in and adapting to new people, and trying to serve the staff I'm on, and so far so good, I think.
What's been one of your favorite things or favorite moments so far being in this position, being around these guys, and like I said, just learning?
Off the field, I would say that my first walk around those lakes was pretty special. I took a picture and had to go to the Twitter world, but that first walk around the lakes was special. You could feel something different about being at this place. And then certainly I think on the field, it's just get around these group of guys and seeing how the expectations of this place and how this place works is something you can feel. It's palpable, like you can feel that. And I think that you can't let that get used to a place so much that you forget that. And so I'm hoping in my time here that I always can kind of feel that and realize the expectation of this place and the standards of it and the people that have come before it. There's nobody more important than Notre Dame. And it's cool to be a part of that.
And my last question. My last one is, you kind of get your feet wet, I guess, a little bit with the blue gold game next Saturday. Overall feeling about that, to get these guys out in action in front of people and seeing how they perform just in front of a crowd for the first time.
Sure, it'll be fun to get over in the stadium for the first time. There's no doubt about it. You can feel the history when you walk through the tunnel with nobody in there. So let on, I wonder how that'll feel with one of the finest fan bases in all the country and being able to get everybody out there. So that's going to be a good feeling. And certainly there's going to be some families showing up to come up and see us too that will be here for the first time. So it's a special feeling to be able to show them that experience too. So really excited, and excited for our guys to kind of put an exclamation point on spring.
Coach, you've developed a depth of experience with previous positions and previous schools. So obviously you've probably developed your own coaching style, but how do you find yourself adjusting that for the new room that you walk into, if at all?
Yeah, I hope not at all. I hope that there's a lot of similarities to all the past rooms I've had a chance to coach and the young men that trusted me to coach them. I hope it stays the same. The mentality will stay the same. The direct approach to coaching will stay the same. The way they'll be a part of my family. I can't wait to get these guys over to the house. It's part of who we are, and I know Candy and the kids are ready for them to get over there. And so it's going to be the same approach. It's got to be a family atmosphere for us to do this the right way. And I hope they feel that, and the directed approach and the same terms and stuff we use that have kind of been developed through the past players I've coached. I always dreamed and hoped that anybody that comes back to come visit from other staffs and other places of guys I've coached in the past, hope they walk in the room and be like, yeah, I remember that term, I get it. Yeah, do you see what he's saying here? I want them all to be able to feel that same language, and it's something we've built over the years that we're going to continue to build here.
We've discussed Mike quite a bit. I'm sure it won't be the last time. But how do you find yourself adjusting your coaching style for him as opposed to the other guys, or is it about the same?
It's the same. What the standard, of course the standard of the room starts with him. There's no question about it. He's the leader of the room, and we want him to empower to do that. And then we want these other guys like Kevin Bauman, Mitch Evans, and Cam Rowan when he gets healthy, and Davis Sherwood, and those guys. We've had guys take meaningful reps here, and we want them to understand. We don't want them to have Mike here and be here. We want them to get to that same level and meet him there, so we're all working together. And I think they're understanding that, giving themselves permission to be great players as well, if that makes sense. And I think that if that's their approach and Mike's approach is the same, we're really going to put ourselves in position long term to be great and continue to be.
And then last year, I believe he was our leading receiver in terms of yardage and maybe touchdowns. I might be throwing something off there. But do you anticipate that being similar this year? Us utilizing the tight ends a lot in the offense, or am I giving away trade secrets here?
I would say you're on the right path. I think that there's probably going to be a huge repeat of that in some ways to make sure that we use the guys in this offense that can help us make plays and score points. And certainly he and others will be a part of that, along with others that have proved in other rooms.
I got one more, Coach. When you look at the quarterback, duo right now and what they're battling now, trying to find out who's going to be in that position. How does that affect or enhance the play of a guy like Mike and your group in general? Knowing how successful they were last year.
Sure, I think that for us, anytime you're in those, I think those guys you kind of have a good approach to, because what we've done a good job of, no matter how you call it, ones or twos or 1A, 1B. We've been able to splice guys in and let them take reps in both scenarios. A lot of those guys that are learning get to play a lot of football, so they've understood that they just need to make the play work and make sure they're doing what's asked of them to do in their route scheme and different things, no matter who it is at Q, because we've been doing it back and forth with different groups. So I think it just removes any bias. They just need to do their job and be where they're supposed to be and be on time, and then let the rest take care of itself. Let any quarterback competitions or anything else take care of themselves. But there's no bias or change in our approach.
And your thoughts on the situation so far, just what you see in practice and how impressive they are?
Yeah, both impressive and doing a great job, and had a great approach to spring. Anything more than that, I'll say for Coach Reese.
Good in the room. All right, we'll move to Zoom. Brian Driscoll, you can unmute.
Hey, Coach, I actually had just a couple quick questions for you. Number one is, obviously you have 3 guys that you're working with on the field, practicing every day, but how do you engage with a guy like Kane Barong who can't be out on the practice field every day? How do you work with him in regards to helping him improve, even though he can't be out there on the practice field?
Yeah, good question, Brian. So here's what we do. First off, in any of our meetings, we engage him, ask questions, and let him feel a part of the meeting. Just the same as we would if we were asking somebody what they have that's taken the rep during the practice, if that makes sense. So keeping him engaged and him hearing his name during the meeting, I think, is critical. The other piece then is getting him out on the field doing anything he's allowed to do, the pre-practice ball drills and stuff, so that lets him be a part of it. And then challenging him on certain things like NFL studies and certain stuff we can put in our folders for film study is something Kane's really taken to. So being able to study NFL players, so it keeps him driven and keeps him wanting to learn more, and I think that's something that he's done a good job of this spring.
My second question is kind of a bit of an inside baseball question. Tight end's that really unique position that you've got to work with the O-line coach, the receivers, and then the quarterbacks. How does that challenge you? What do you have to do as a coach to make sure that you are on the same page with so many different groups and how you guys go about what you do each day?
Yeah, it's honestly one of the coolest things about coaching this position again. I love that you have to wear a lot of different hats, and I hope that the people that have worked with me in the past or now would say that is one of my strengths, to work around a lot of different people. It's something I feel like that is a strength, so I celebrate that and being able to have to communicate with a lot of different people because I like that part of it. So I like the challenge of having to do multiple things and see our guys improve in those areas and it matter. So I think more than anything, it's been good to have to do that. It's something I enjoy doing.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Anyone else on Zoom? Kyle Kelly.
Hey, Coach. Kyle Kelly from Inside ND Sports on Rivals. Coming here, Michael Mayer had, already accomplished a pretty good amount, setting some single-season records. So I just was wanting to ask, in what ways have you really challenged him to kind of, continue to go above and beyond and really, increase his production heading into his junior season?
Sure. Yeah, I think for us, challenging him off the field or in a non-physical role has been his leadership role here with the football team, offensively, and in the tight end room, and he's accepted that. He knows he needs to become not only a guy that leads by example, but he leads verbally, and he's really taken a step in that, especially the last week of spring. That's been the big step for him there. And then on the field, I think more than anything, I said it in other things today, for him to become better, and that's something he really wants to do. It has been a commitment to the details of his route running and depth, some things to where he can maybe give him a chance to run with the ball more after the catch because he gets more depth in his routes. the details of when to use certain moves in his route game and why. And then in the run game, his front recognition and just understanding the details of his footwork and hat placement and hands. And just continuing to commit to all those things that are the difference between a really good player and becoming truly great. And he's bought into those and is well on his way. But those are the areas we've really concentrated on for him to do so.
You mentioned his leadership and working with the other guys. Are there any specific ways that you've really seen him lead by example, on the practice field, or have some talking points with guys in the meeting rooms, or how he's really stepped up specifically with working with a lot of the other guys in the tight ends room, but maybe also guys that are outside of that position group?
Sure. Yeah, I think in our meeting room alone, his ability, because we really want a lot of, I told them I kind of want it to sound like a dugout chatter in our meeting room. When the film comes on, if we're in pass, hey, what's the coverage? What is it? Is it man or zone? And just having that constant talk within a meeting room allows us to stay alive and know we're thinking the game pre-snap. So he is the first to talk in those, especially early in spring, and now other guys are starting to spit it out to where we're competing for who calls those things out first. Out here on the practice field, he's done a really good job of grabbing the tight ends first in certain reps, like if we're in inside run and saying, hey, you've got to be here. And he does it in a way that's not attacking, but he's pushing those guys to know, hey, this is where your hat and hand's got to be. So he's echoing things that I'm also saying, and that just, when you hear it from a peer, it hits different. So that piece has been good, and I think as a full offense, he's been really good at picking his spots in the huddle, in pregame warm-up stuff, practice stuff and warm-ups, of making sure that our offense is ready to go and doing his part to make sure that they verbally hear, hey, it's time to go. I think he's really made a commitment to doing that.
Last call on Zoom. All right, I think we're all set. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you all.